Hey guys, this is the original Josh back again with Kranzle USA, your home for pressure washer perfection. And we are going to do a GFI diagnosis because we have identified that it is tripping and not failed. So we're going to do a little look inside to see what's causing the GFI to trip and determine whether or not it's actually specifically isolated to the machine or if maybe it is somewhere in our cord. So we'll start by going into the electrical enclosure by removing the 4 screws from the box. It's important to note that we start this process with the machine not plugged in, and also only if you're comfortable doing electrical work or a certified repair center. So we remove the lid to the electrical enclosure, and on top we're going to see our capacitor. We'll introduce you to him in a minute. We're just going to hang it out of the way. So here we'll see we've got our GFI routed into the electrical enclosure. This carries 3 wires, our ground and hot and neutral, and they go to the on-off switch. First step to looking for any causes for our GFI tripping is to see if there's any evidence of water inside the box. Also look for rust or a place where water might have been and dried up, and also looking for evidence of loose wires or broken connections. If you have a pinched wire, that can sometimes contribute to the GFI tripping. So looking for things that look out of ordinary. We're gonna go back and plug in our GFI into our receptacle, and we're gonna cycle between the reset and test button again. And if we press the reset button and it doesn't trip, then we may have to run the machine to diagnose it. But first, if we press it in and it immediately trips, then we want to go over to the box. First, unplug the GFI from the receptacle. And we're going to remove our hot and neutral from the on-off switch. And we're going to take a multimeter and test these 2 terminals for current when we plug this in. So once we have our tester plugged into the actual terminals safely, we're going to plug in the GFI and press the reset button. At that point, if it again trips, then your cause for the GFI to trip is somewhere in the wire. It's probably got some broken wires inside. Unfortunately, at that point, you're going to have to replace it, and you can refer to the GFI replacement video for that. If you plug it in and it does not trip, you should be able to read 120 volts, 115, 120 volts on your multimeter at these 2 connections. If for some odd reason the current is less than that, that also is an indication that this wire might have some sort of damage in it. Once again, replace the GFI. If not, then what's going on is probably due to some other short. And like I said, you're gonna look for any evidence of water inside the machine or loose wires. If the machine's getting dropped a lot or left in conditions where it can get water inside the enclosure, we may start to see the GFI trip out of the blue. So just to recap, what we've learned is if the GFI has failed itself, we're gonna have to replace the entire assembly. If there's a damaged wire in the cord, once again, the whole GFI is gonna get replaced. If we found that there's just some loose wires or maybe some water in the enclosure, we can fix that now and then retest to see if that's still a problem. And then beyond that, if we're still tripping the GFI, then we know that it's something else going inside the electrical system, and we're going to diagnose that further in the upcoming videos. So stick around with us. This is the original Josh with Kranzle USA, pressure washer perfection.
Kranzle USA, pressure washer perfection.